true enough. And of course, for those of you guys who are newcomers to the Ruthless Invitational Showdown, of course, early on we showed you the usual format where we have a 10-point system for the chicken dinner. Now, this is where things get pretty interesting, right? Where we've gone through so many days of the playoffs, and now only the top 18 team remains over the course of the grand finals. This is the penultimate day, so we are on day 3 out of day 4. So, of course, make sure you support your favorite team out there, and we are looking for the teams to be able to achieve that hit start point, and we'll add a +10 to their result, and whoever gets that chicken dinner by the end of course, of the chicken dinner should be able to walk away as champions of the RIS.
Yep, and just like the official format, ladies and gents, you're looking at the Smash Rule effect. Okay, so we all know what the team needs to do. They need to reach the match point and then have to win that WWCD. So again, it doesn't even matter like if teams are, or like if a certain team really is at the top currently, they need to go through the Smash Rule in order to lock it in order to get that crown. So then again, we don't exactly have an idea just which of these amazing teams is really gonna get the I guess the summit, or like really the top spot for the season 11 of Ruthless Invitational Showdown. But just in case you guys still don't have any idea like which teams are participating, we have it on your screen. So D plus Kia, NS Red Force, Force Thrives, Alpha 7, FaZe, Team Secret, Yangon Galacticos, GLU, Horror Esports, Point Donkey, RQ, DX, BTR Sem 9, VPE, Vikings, E Arena, and of course Talon Esports.
These are household names from across the regions, and of course, right now, hot favorites are both EK as well as NS, who's currently racing to the finish line on the top 2 spots for the moment. But I do believe that there's going to be shakeups because teams, they're definitely looking really hungry for those chicken dinners. But overall, you know, it's been a daunting task for them to find that level of consistency to match up the speed, especially up against D plus Kia that's been thriving throughout those course of the playoffs. There was a day where they walk away with like 3 chicken dinners, and they made it look like it's a walk in the park. So at least being fair, you know, Smash Rule, that cutoff point is at match 18. So that will be the benchmark to be set. So we want to see by match 18, how much points do they actually set? Is it not going to be even close for the rest of the pack? It's time to find out.
Exactly. And honestly, D plus Kia, they have been so aggressive even during the playoffs, right? And they were able to get that energy back for the grand finals. You know, they were even like the first team to cross that triple-digit score, most number of chicken dinners as well. So, you know, Sir Cloud and I were already asking, what will it take, you know, for D plus Kia to get stopped at this point? So maybe it is the Smash Rule, so to speak. But anyway, we can see the names, of course, under this banner. Some of them very familiar, some of them we still don't know quite yet. But we got FaZe, we got Team Secret, Yangon Galacticos, GLU Squad coming into play as well. And just so you know, if you also missed the games yesterday, FaZe Clan took a chicken dinner in one of the matches.
Yeah, that's great on them, is they're giving themselves a little bit more lifeline throughout the grand final. So FaZe Clan definitely looking back in we're definitely looking for a whole lot more coming in from Horror Esports, Point Donkey, RQ Ryu, as well as the Saber. I think throughout the playoffs, some of these names definitely have shown that they have great strides to take, but I kind of want a little bit more of that juice coming out of the Purple Hearts. Horror Esports gotta really work for it.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's really no doubt that Horror Esports can really retaliate inside the matches. The big question is if they are already in the mood to really turn their aggression on this time. But we also got the boys from Indonesia, Bigatron by Vitality, and I just know that we have a lot of fans for Federalis down there in the comment section. They've been looking for him, you know, ever since the playoffs. And I'm not exactly sure if it is actually playing this tournament, since he is staying in the Philippines and actually going out with his friends, with his buddies. And so I don't exactly know if it's playing. But then again, we do see a lot of pseudo names in Bigatron. So perhaps he is actually one of them.
Well, we don't know until we find out one way or another, but at least we do assume that there's a lot of teams that are actually trying out players, but not so much for D plus Kia, because they're fielding all their powerhouse names, especially Noble, that's consistently the MVP. So far, he's been wowing us every step of the way, and take a look at the amount of ellipses that he had. It's pretty much sky high out there, especially on the damage output. So we would definitely want to see, can he put up that star performance and just make it look like a walk in the park against Nongshim Red Force later on.
You know what, D plus Kia, they're turning this whole tournament into just like a classic lobby, and everyone is already saying that down there in the comment section. But we do have 3 players from D plus Kia on the road to MVP, but it's great to see that we also have IQ over here coming from 4th Thrives, and even Joker of E Arena averaging 1.42 in terms of elimination.
And so far, it's great to see E Arena really bouncing back up, especially over the course of the finals. During the playoffs in specific, I think E Arena definitely struggled to find that form of rhythm, and Joker so far have definitely stepped up for the past couple of days, but they still gotta do a whole lot more, because you see plenty of all these big names coming in from D plus Kia. It's always been the duo of Noble as well as also to be taking the top spot, but take a look at that 3rd spot. It's currently tied between IQ, XZY, as well as Revo overall. So yeah, I would say it is a very, very close fight for them to catch up to Noble in specific.
Yeah, and during day number 1 of the grand finals, D plus Kia was kind of just playing it slow and steady, and we don't even see really Noble racking up some more points. But come day number 2, and he just again went explosive, with the rest of the team, and they've been getting all of the titles, from this tournament. So I do wonder if they're really going to close this down, as the champions for season 11. And now D plus Kia with the overall rankings, 144, still at the top over here. FaZe coming in at 2nd place, and then we got Alpha 7 coming in at 3rd. So top 3 teams here. E Arena moved up 1 rank. Same thing goes for D Saver. As for Horror Esports, again, it's a slow burn, but today can change just that. I mean, Horror Esports, the Purple Hearts might do something big, and Sky might start just really going crazy and collecting all those points. Horror Esports needs to stay at the top.
I gotta say, there's definitely those kind of possibilities, even for Vampire Esports as well as Bigatron Black Vitality at the moment, tied at 71 points. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, so long as it's Smash rules, I think that everybody actually has a fighting chance, but I would be concerned for names like YG, 7-9, Point Donkey, as well as Tab, because they are below that 50-pointer threshold. So once the benchmark is being set by the end of today, it's gonna be even harder for them to eventually try to close things up tomorrow on that Smash rule.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Talon Esports to move the glass or something, just make their presence felt. Do we need to play some sort of like Ouija board or something, just so we can feel the presence of Talon Esports? But yeah, hopefully still maybe they can show us something great. They don't even have to play super aggressive in all of the matches, but perhaps, just give us a sneak peek of what they can do in the official tournaments. I mean, I think, the fans will definitely love that.
I'm pretty sure that everyone is kind of rooting for so many different favorite teams out there. So, of course, keep doing so. And if you guys haven't subscribed to us yet, make sure you guys hit that sub as well as like button. It definitely helps a whole lot, where we're hoping to bring you even more epic tournaments here at the Ruthless Hype Esports channel. So, that being said, though, Red Queen, going through those lists of names, I still think that it's been rather shaky, where there's still a lot of big questions to be answered by majority of all these teams out there. But I would say that the format overall won't be too much of a big question right now. We start things off in Wrangle, then we go 2 rounds into Miramar as we'll go on a similar rotation, and it will end in Miramar once again. Current best performers for this map in particular, Nongshim Red Force, where they're really starting to show some of all their main formula that they've implemented back in the tournaments, and I'm glad to see that happen.
Yeah, and you know, with the kind of map sequence that we have in this tournament, since we have Erangel back-to-back, we have Miramar back-to-back in between, I think that's where the teams can actually capitalize in terms of like strategy, chemistry, and rotations, because the consistency will be tested, right? And if you can actually pull off the same rotations without having any problems at all, I think that could be the thing, you know, for most of the teams wherein they could really get as much points as they can. But we need to have our due diligence, and well, production already knows my first pick. Of course, I'm always going to go with the Purple Hearts for Erangel.
All right, if that's going to be the case, am I allowed to pick either Nongshim Red Force or D plus Kia?
Of course!
I am allowed, right? So this time I'll start with Nongshim. I mean, track record wise, it just makes sense, right? Overall, I do think that there will be a very close fight between the two. So that's my prediction.
You know, this is the thing. I feel like NS Red Force and D plus K is kind of one-upping each other. And yesterday, NS Red Force caught 2 winner-winner chicken dinners. So I feel like, yeah, oh man. I believe D plus Kia won't let that happen.
True enough. I mean, we've just gotta really wait and see. I mean, the rest of the party, it may not even be any one of our predictions right now that actually takes game 1, because you see there's so many lists of names somewhere from the midfield as well as those who are currently on the second page of the standings that definitely fancies those chances as well, where I'm expecting a very big shift in terms of playstyle, where, you know, teams know that there's honestly not much to lose but to really try to propel forward in that sense. So that is where I want to see what exactly is going to be the changes that they make overnight in order to succeed here on Day 3.
Well, we did experience some alterations that happened in Erangel and Miramar. You know, some of the teams actually changed their drop locations. It was unusual to see from time to time that ES9 is not being occupied by, you know, like teams, and Yangon Galacticos also trying to like mix and match their strategy, which is of course perfect. Like, you don't want to be too predictable, right? But we are about to kick things off, ladies and gents, and the first map would be Erangel. So let's get it.
Perfect start, I must say. I love the view when it starts from the island. That gives us maybe a little bit of clue that it could actually end up into the southern portion of the Range, or, you know, maybe back to something a little bit more standard towards the mainland. So this flight path coming in from the military base heading to Kameshki is going to cut off Georgia Pool entirely. So this might actually be a cause of concern for the teams that love to be stretching towards that region, whether it's going to be Gatsa or even the edge of Primos is still relatively okay, but we're already looking at Flock of Prowl actually dropping so early on. So I wonder if we're going to get some grand battles right now. Lampard Esports hopping down south. And Point Donkey is going to do exactly the same, joining alongside Talon. So this is going to be a big brawl that we kick things off with. And take a look at Novo. Yangon Galacticos will be taking on up against Team Secret.
Yeah, it's gonna be one heck of a party down south. You know, this is probably the first time that I've seen a lot of teams drop in the military base, and you're absolutely correct. I mean, Team Secret, Yangon Galacticos, this is a first for me. Talon, Voindunky, and even Vampire Esports down there in the military island. Oh, this is gonna be explosive. So this is always the way that we want to open up the matches. And as for initial circle, yes, it had gone over to the west side, but then again, we do have that little portion coming from the south. So there you go. Superman taking a lot of hit coming from D Savior. Lamborghini bagging 1 point. So first blood goes to him.
Wow. Really kicking things off with a little bit of a civil war between both ends of the Vietnamese teams. So the very best, to be specific. So Superman, was the MVP for most part when it comes down to the playoffs. And with him taken out so early, this is gonna dampen the firepower for MGM Vikings overall. So a little bit of a cause for concern, but hey, so long as they can work it out as team members, I think there's definitely ample of opportunities. Now, I want to touch on one thing in particular. Since we have so many teams inside the island, and now we saw that that circle kind of pops more racial towards the mainland, I think this is gonna be a little bit more hectic for whoever is looking to exit out of the island.
Okay. There goes Frankie with a massive open fire up against players from Yangon Galacticus, but he did not exactly hit his target just yet. And yes, when it comes to Vikings, I think they still have an ace up in their sleeve since, Wonti actually played for D Savior before, so probably he knows exactly what goes inside the head of Lamborghini and the rest of the crew. So maybe he could use that knowledge up against D Savior and avenge their fallen comrade, which is, of course, Superman. So, yeah, the last son of Krypton.
Speaking of Krypton, there is a player called Krypton as well. And that being said, Yangon Galactica is still plotting it up against Team Secret, now getting an elevated area to play with. But the rest of Team Secret, they're skipping up the hillside, trying to also fly trajectory to take them on. Sharp shots coming in only with the red dot side. So rather impressive that he's been able to actually track the rest of Yangon Galactica. So YG says, we're done looting. They're just going to move out of the way, respect the territory of Team Secret of what they have inside Novo. And no casualties thus far. I think that's a smooth start overall for the Islanders, but I can't say that it's going to be for long.
And, Yangon Galacticus, they're not even interested to take up a fight up against Team Secret. Maybe they're not prepared just yet, or maybe they don't really want to risk, losing some members at an early onset. So perhaps we will see them fight maybe in a while, or maybe they will prioritize getting inside the zone first and do the gatekeeping before they actually engage with Team Secret. But then again, if they step into the zone here, they could probably have a clash with Boindunky and Talon Esports, who is already in position around the military base. So we don't exactly know how that is actually going to play out. So we also have to wait, like, okay, this is stage 1, but where will stage 2 go?
Sure enough, I mean, it could end up in Fairpure. It could go back into the mainland of Gakka, for all we know. So options are endless. So those teams are not looking to really jump the gun on really booking those spots just yet. But it's kind of safe for those who actually drop into the mainland to, take their sweet time to make those kind of decisions, since both bridge are not fully occupied just yet if it does end up in the island. But the ratio right now is kind of like 70-30 to the mainland in specific. So more often than not, I think a lot of these teams are looking for, those farmhouses over the south side of Gakta, or even somewhere around Quarry is going to be a really decent hole as well. So it's going to be a long journey, since this flight path was skewered towards Lipovka's area. So a lot of all these teams, they're just going to take their sweet time as we're taking a look at Voing Donkey, which, they haven't really shown much of their cards throughout the playoffs, throughout the grand finals. They barely made the cut. I'm actually glad to see them in the grand finals overall, but take a quick look. Yep, as much as I say 70-30, I think I can further confirm that it could very well be an 80% chance that it will still land over on the mainland. So Pachinki is also within the vicinity of Grab. So I'm just surprised that D Savior, they're just quickly looting those areas up, and then they pick a spot over the hillside instead of staying within the city.
And if you guys saw the map feed earlier, there are a lot of teams already clustering up down there in the middle, and Fourth Tribes is at the other end of that west bridge together with NS Red Force. So Yangon Galacticos, even Boindunky, and even Talon Esports probably will pass through that direction. So I mean, that would be a great opportunity for Falak and the rest of the crew to actually assume a lot of points. if they can do an effective bridge camping. That's always a great tactic. But then again, it all boils down like just how good their defense will be, because that is like we're talking about 3 teams here, not to mention the teams that are already in the main peninsula once they hear the gunshots.
Sure enough, and on top of that, right now, NS Red Forces, they're planted in a really good spot where it's kind of like 50-50, right? Where no matter where it shifts, they will still be able to have a solid hold of the zone. So that's kind of the less of their worries right now. It's more about finding somebody to catch over the course of rain. Speaking of catching somebody out there, it's going to be Gachor. Looking for a target. Talons could be moving in the way as well. Void Donkey split into a 2-2 position, while 3 members of Talon right now looking to spot them out. Potato going up the hillside. So he's going to be at least scouting up ahead to relay whatever intel. I believe he might have actually spot out Rebo. So he's falling all the way back. Achille's going to lead the way. Razak's got to really find a way to hold down the line. And so far, he's been impressing us throughout the playoffs. Can he do so? It seems like it's a little too risky, so he's just going to pull all the way back.
I feel like Potato's going off angle. I mean, obviously with this kind of movement from Void Donkey, they would love to go for a pinch here. But I mean, we see Talon Esports, and they just really want to group all together, right? I mean, we saw Void Donkey go for a 2-2 split, but Talon Esports, they just want to fight, with them, like just really within reach. So let's see which is actually the more effective strategy, so to speak. But anyway, we can see Razak back on the screen over here. We got Zeta as well, manning another angle. And we're not exactly sure if they're already ready to actually just cut each other off. But coming off the kill feed, it's Joker coming from E Arena, was able to put down one player from BTR. So I guess they're going head-to-head at the moment. No confirmation just yet. If anybody had been taken back to the lobby, it's another player from BTR.
Great knocks coming out of E Arena, finding those catches as it's being retaliated coming from the back end. It's Bumblebee shooting right back at him. It's just a couple of all these stars at the top. And you are looking at all these teams scrambling because right now the update is 50-50. Island as well as the mainland. So plenty of these teams are looking for whatever gaps that they can find to hold on to. And there goes Nona on the ground already. The rest of BTR looking to bail out. So it's only going to be 2 players to play out for the rest of the course. Well, Allen finally hitting the mark, finding one member inside of Void Donkey as Razak goes in for a long-range tag. He's barely having anything other than this shack right at this moment, and it's going to be hard for him to even think about saving Potato.
Bad start for the boys of BTR. Yeah, 2 casualties right off the bat here. And kill feed, Horror Esports versus FaZe, Void Donkey versus Talon. Man, there are a lot of fights happening simultaneously, which is, of course, what we love to see on screen. Yaru went again for an angry spray up against Razak's pretty low in HP, so probably we'll see a car chase happen, but this is going to be a solid drive-by from Talon Esports.
Great shots. Nathan is coming in from side of Red Bull, as I believe there should be a little bit of saving grace coming in from the members of RQ. They do spot out another member coming right by, coming from YG, and Chopper makes a quick work out of him, securing another point for FaZe Clan. But this isn't exactly the best spot to actually take a stop, where Chopper really has to go further up ahead. And look at the current situation. This kind of split really puts them in such a tough position where they're only relying on all these open fields as well as terrains for cover for the moment. So Talon decides to at least seek refuge through those high elevated hills, but they're definitely looking to position once again. They are in the island, the last I checked, and those fights between Void Donkey and them have not concluded just yet. So it's going to be shields that full send it right across. It's going to be ending up inside of Fairpier instead. So good work coming in from Talon to at least get closer and closer to the zone. But take a look. Team Secret's about to do the same. So there's a true battle. See if they can cut the drop. Well, all the other teams back over the mainland. They're still on the Duke out. And it's back to Razak right now, challenging Talon.
Oh man, this is a crazy circle altogether. I mean, we're talking about like 30% water over here. But let's check out what is happening between Team Secret Force versus Void Donkey. Razak seems to be backing away from that one. Okay, it's not really a fair fight after what the 2v1. But hey, we're looking at Vampire Esports this time going up against E Arena. And yeah, they were already bagging 3 elimination points for themselves. So I guess we're talking about the last remaining player from the side of the arena, which is of course 456. Always included in the top performers, by the way. Maybe he can pull off a clutch, but then again, I did see boys from Fourth Thrives. They're pretty close to that exact location. And not to mention, we got boys from D-Savior and even Vikings. So this is gonna be great. Karina taking hits from Yala. So Karina's gonna be put down, but there's still time for him to get picked up at this point.
Yep, great coverage coming in for Vampire Esports. So A7's going to do exactly the same as Senna has been able to go in for the rescue. The rest of Vampire Esports right now going for that grand reset. But the rest of E Arena just right across, tossing a couple of smokes just to prep up for what's bound to be a very big fight. The Savior right onto those tiny little shacks are finding it hard to even find space with that Molotov thrown right in. Now, how long can they hold on is a big question right now. This fight has not concluded. The last we checked, they've been having that small little scuffle early on, which resulted in Superman being taken out. And now, D-Saver looking to close it all off. But it's going to be a little tough for Break to also chime right through. But perhaps he could find himself a little bit of off angle. While Vampires, they're at it again.
Great shot coming from Lazarus, ending the line of E Arena. We're looking at 15 teams for stage number 3 here. Lapar is bleeding out there in the open. Thank you to Horror Esports. Yes, Sky and Jiggle both out of the game, so it's just the duo between Sleepy and Nofre, and we can see Sleepy's trying to stick to the edge of the circle as well, but he's been getting a lot of shots, damage as well. Now we're looking at Nongshim Red Force. And they seem to be having an altercation with someone close to the edge of the circle. Just couldn't pinpoint, like, which team is that. Oh, I believe that's Hora.
I believe so, too. And Sleepy is barely getting by right now, just squeezing by the edge. Same goes to Nofer, who's coming pretty close by towards Texas. Well, Nongshim Red Force, they got themselves inside the zone, but they are sharing the spot alongside with T79. So I'm not too sure if they have enough members to actually work it out at the moment, because at this point in time, we're looking at a little bit of a split position coming from some of their members.
Oh.
Revo right now holding it down as D plus Kia, hoping to find a little bit of space to restore. Will meet up with the rest of Alpha 7 right at this moment. Revo, he got themselves pretty much bunched up inside of the corners of the beach. So this might just actually see D plus Kia crashing out early.
Hey, you know what? It's a vulnerable spot if you ask me, but let's see if D plus Kia can actually survive that one. But in the meantime, we're looking at Vampire Esports once again retaliating and taking out Squashboo off the equation here. 5 elimination points in their pocket. Revo taking in some shots as well. Now down on the ground, and Lazarus just made sure that he's not coming back from that one. 6 points from Vampire Esports.
Wow, clean work so far from Vampire Esports. They still have majority of their members hailing grenades after grenades at Alpha 7, and they barely have enough space to work with. Hansa's now trying to squeeze those grenades over. Same goes to Schweppes. Going on attack while D plus Kia sees this as an opportunity. Instead, those nades are falling right in, and D plus Kia got caught in the middle. And here comes the push. Schweppes will be able to seal the field, takes out Alpha 7, and only a couple of members remain for D plus Kia. That charge from DK was unwarranted, and now they pay the price.
Okay, so obviously Vampire Esports is playing on another level here. We've been waiting for a long time. You know, they have been passive for like most of the days of the tournament, and now let's all welcome back the boys of Vampire Esports. Already has a total of 8 elimination points in the bag here. Sem9 back on the screen, just punishing the boys of GLU squad this time. Hexa's already down, but not by Sem9, but by BTR. And just like that, ladies and gents, we already have 2 teams out. Alpha 7 and was that D plus Kia? Yes, D plus Kia already out.
Yeah, there's just not much room for them to actually play from. They entered very, very late, coming in from the far west. And there was already those attacks coming from Alpha 7. Now in between it, BTR getting caught up, so it's only down to Kent. And I'm not too sure what more can he actually make out of the situation. Wolves just stand toe-to-toe up against Blue Squad, dodging that vehicle, goes in for the knockdown, and hoping to secure at least 1 point back. Quickly losing those tires, but he's still making a run for it. Ken holding it down, and he's still bringing points back, shredding out Blue Squad in the process.
Oh, great vantage point for Falak. Okay, he could definitely utilize this very position, I mean, to his advantage, which is of course always perfect. And yeah, it's working out so far for the side of Fourth Thrives, and now we have 9 teams remaining here for stage number 4. And looking at Team Secret, they seem to be doing just fine as well. 3 points in the bag, and they continue to rack up some more. Over to the south side of the map, we can see 4 teams, and it's so amazing because the circle now went up north, so all the teams down south have to fight it out just to survive, just to get inside the zone. So there will be a massive cleanup that's definitely going to happen in Ferry-Pierre.
If I'm going to be the observers, I'll keep my eyes on Falak because he got himself that crazy angle through the top of the tower. So he's going to be able to spot everybody scrambling to make that space from the south side. But as we speak of it, it's going to be a gridlock situation between MVKE, Team Secret, as well as DE Saber. Literally, all the Vietnamese teams bunching up. But eventually, somebody's got to make the call to run out. And whoever is going to be late to the scene, they're just going to get clipped. It's just the nature of what this game is like. So there is still a little bit of time to go. So when I say little, it's still kind of 2.5 minutes or less. So Nashim Red Force, they've definitely found themselves a defensive cover good enough for them to hold out till the next zone appears. So stage 5, they're just making sure that they play defensively. But for Prod, this is going to be their time to shine. They spot out the rest of VP, trying to make their way across. Hunter's got no other cover but to go crawling on his belly. It's only a smoke for them to actually hold for the moment. Mela needs to at least find something in return. If they do get an exchange, then it could be good. But the nades are making it even more difficult for VPE. 4 tries, making it rain. And somehow, VP still stays afloat, but not for long.
Oh, man, yeah. Oh, they're really getting a lot, you know, from Fourth Thrives. Obviously, Vampire Esports went for another rotation here, chose another entry point, but yeah, they're really getting punished over here by Fourth Thrives. And just like what you mentioned, you know, Falak is really holding on to a great angle over here, just really capitalizing on everything that is happening at the moment. We can see that Noki also pocketing 3 elimination points, which is outstanding. Now, Anson trying to get away from this situation. He is very low when it comes to his health. So let's see if Fourth Thrives will show a little bit of mercy to that last surviving member of Vampire Esports and just let him through. But yeah, I think he was able to get through just because he's already down there, smacked in the middle of the zone.
Yeah, I got big questions as to how Falak actually got all the way up there. I'm pretty sure that he's got great parkour skills in order to do so, because the last I recall, that wasn't exactly a letter for him to do so. Great nade. That quickly eliminates Break from even being part of the equation. So it's only down to Tizin, as I say his name. It is quickly eliminated by 2504. So only a member left for the time MVKE, while D-Saber soaking too much damage coming from the zone. It's only down to Paragin at this moment.
Oh!
I think he's barely even making it out alive. Yangon Galacticos is currently holding all of them hostage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yangon Galacticos is in a very great spot. I mean, they're just really making it rain as well up against the Savior and Wonti's team, and now the circle shifted back again, and it looks like it had favored the boys of 4 Thrives this time. So 4 Thrives, if they play their cards right, they could potentially score the chicken dinner here. But coming off the kill feed, it's 7-9 versus NS Red Force, and yeah, we already have one casualty onto the side of this Korean powerhouse.
It's a tough tussle over there because last we checked, with that shift going on, both 7-9 as well as Nongshim Red Force need to find a little bit more of that space up the map. 4 Tribes right now on the hunt, finding those members of Yangon Galacticos. A couple of attacks coming in from the side of T24, not quite enough. It's pinned down. Naki's hoping to draw an exchange. Wow. And this is just making it harder and harder where YG, they finally found themselves a little bit of cover for the meantime. Particularly this, the rest of Nongshim Red Force.
Wow.
Careful setting with that hovercraft, and they're driving to the direction of 14.
Okay, 4 Thrive seems to be doing great. They woke up on the right side of the bed, I guess. I mean, 10 elimination points. This is outstanding. Phenomenal, even. But you know what, Murnau Boy, well, he got by the blue zone, so he denied the points to the rest of the teams here. Still participating. Now, Nongshim Red Force still feeling a lot of wrath coming from Yangon Galacticos, and that is it. XZY already out of the game here, and 4 Thrives Esports continues to thrive as they hunt down this last member of Vampire Esports.
Yeah, they got the perfect position, and it's all about how long can they hold on before these teams storm right through. But they've been already weakened, all thanks to Falak's position. He has been key in majority of all these battles, and overall, nobody has been able to stop Falak or even spot him up just yet. It's absolutely ridiculous if you ask me. Yeah, Galacticos right now. 2 more members left, but how are they supposed to fight through NS, 7-9, and then get to 4 Tribes?
4 Thrives going for the zone control. Yangon Galacticos now continues to get a lot of points, you know, from this round. NS Red Force, well, they also got, you know, the chopping board this time for stage number 6 in E-Wrangle. Then we can see Falak already making a move here. Onzen right behind that shack. Falak continues to apply a lot of pressure. Oh, but what a shot coming from Onzen. That puts Falak down on the ground. So he needs to survive. But, of course, we're still talking about 3 more members from 4 Tribes, and they will avenge Falak in this situation. Can he serve his vengeance up against Onzen?
So far, Onsen's having a very good defensive cover, and he's already spot out Naki's position, so he's going to be seeing if he can out-trade that position. If Naki goes out, it will be very problematic for 4 Tribes, while 7-9 somehow holding on despite being on that low ground. The rest of the members of YG over the spot of the kills. It's going to be Manpa, the former champion of SEA, charging up forward, and it's Onsen's napped from the back, and it is out of FaZe Clan to take one of their brothers from Thailand out of this match. Now into the top 4 we go.
All right, here we go. Falak moving in closer, puts down Romeo Boy. Romeo Boy wasn't able to pull his gun. You know, wasn't able to defend himself well, a little slow with the trigger, and now Falak goes in for the massive spray once again, trying to put down St. Cloud this time. We're looking at the final 4 teams here for stage 7, ladies and gents, and 4 Thrives is the only team with a complete members for their squad.
Looking hella good right now. They can actually close this up. And of course, we've got one of the best hitmen on the list to really fend this off, and IQ is already added. Viren try to find a little bit of a space for him to work with as he works in tandem with Manpa. Yuhai left out to dry. Oh, Falak making sure that he actually out for the position, and just like that, takes out St. Cloud with his sharp eyes. 5 elimination points for YG, not too shabby for a top 3 finish. Now it's between 7-9 and 14.
Yeah, Falak caught him sleeping down there. Now here comes Fire making a move up against D2, 14-4 low in HP. Fire taking in some shots coming from Noki. He was able to put down one player coming from 4 Thrive, but Noki was able to get things done. Now we're looking at a 2v2 situation, but 4 Thrives, then they are really flexing at the moment, trying to get rid of everyone. But what a shot coming from Manparang!
Great work, and now he's looking to close it up. 2 versus 1. Falak, he has the firepower. They cannot underestimate him right now. But over on the hands of Mamparang, he's got that grenade. This could very well be the first chicken dinner for Sentai here. And they found it! The Malaysian dream, it's real! And they have been able to overwhelm the rampaging 4 tribes. And here it is. The PMSLC representative of Malaysia to take the first chicken dinner of the day.
Crazy ending that was. Wow. I mean, like, it kept me at the edge of my seat, that is for sure. I mean, I almost thought that 4th tribes will definitely get the chicken dinner. I mean, they had all the advantages working out for them. You know, they were pretty aggressive. They already have the momentum, you know, the rhythm, everything. And it was such a great counter that Sem9 did. You know, I think pretty much you know, that the moment that Noki got shut down, I think that was the start, you know, of the ripple effect onto the side of 4th tribes, and they just kind of lost the momentum. And the fact that, you know, Mamparang made a essential nade onto Falak, that kind of sealed the deal. But then again, we're talking about like 4th tribes getting a double-digit elimination point for this round. That is still you know, incredible, you know, impeccable performance still. But we don't want to take away the spotlight, you know, for our winner chicken dinner, which is of course Sem9 repping up Malaysia over here. So yeah, we just have to give it to them because that was a job well done.
It's actually crazy if you think about it. Mamparang kind of retired from the pro scene for about 3 years at the minimum, and once more showing how exactly it's done, where he has been able to win out the C Championship back in the past in official tournaments. And that being said, if we take a look at those numbers, 4 tribes definitely is unmatched. They got the most elimination points, the most damage done as well, if you ask me. But Sem9, they held on for such a defensive position, and they moved in at the perfect time. And it wasn't exactly easy when you have Yangon Galacticos and also members of Nangshan Red Force being around. So let's make comparison, right? Falak, unstoppable. There was also IQ in great position. So, like I said, it will be pretty much 15. A very big difference in the form of damage.
Yeah, 15 elimination points. That is outstanding. And just look at the damage output. It's over 3,000. Okay, so yeah, it was just so unfortunate, I guess. But then again, even if like not securing the chicken dinner, we can still say that 4th tribes did amazing, you know, for this round. And we also have the MVP, of course. We got 7 elimination points for this guy alone. Falak, 1,457 damage output. And he only used, what, like 9 utilities inside the game? So I guess this guy has been pretty amazing so far. You know, he's bringing pride to the country, and now 4th tribes is playing in the international stage. So that's the major thing that the Pakistani community is actually looking forward to.
That's right. He's always super reliable when you need him the most, and you saw he was climbing up to that cheeky little position up the tower to really yoink a couple of all these names out there. So the one that has been able to match 4 tribes is actually Shrebs coming from Vampire Esports. He really took charge of that entire sector of Verapure. Barring that, they could not really find an entry point. I mean, overall, they really fought tooth and nail. They took out D plus Kia. They also took out Alpha 7. 2 very, very notable names who are fighting for that top position.
Oh man, I can see you guys down there in the comment section going crazy as well. Yeah, that was outstanding, I'm telling you guys. But we can expect more of that action to happen for the remaining matches today. Now, again, we're looking at the match leaderboard. 21 points for 4th tribes, but it was Sem9 who took the chicken dinner with 15. Vampire Esports coming in at 3rd with 11. So it's a good thing to see on the board that no team actually exited the game empty-handed. So I guess it's a great start for everyone.
I would say a decent start for the rest of the field, and a stellar run for both Sem9 as well as 4 tribes in particular. Even Yangon Galacticos with that 5-pointer that they've actually accomplished throughout those fights I think that definitely supplements them a whole lot more, where they're not exactly clear from the gutter at this moment. And even FaZe Clan stepping up to the platter at this moment is really showing up that, hey, they still have a little bit of that momentum from the chicken dinner that they won from yesterday's run. So, of course, we want to see a whole lot more. And take a look at the amount of total limbs. It's a little higher than usual because we got 18 teams in specific. That also tells you that, a couple of these teams were struggling to even get out of the island. Some got taken down by play zone. And the furthest range coming in from Horror Esports, it's none other than Sleepy. So that's it. I would say the rest of these numbers are pretty stock standard, but now we get ourselves the overall rankings.
Yep, and if we're gonna really focus on the amount of numbers set out by Pubg, it's already on 145, and again, it's a really huge gap, compared to our second placer, which is of course FaZe Clan. Alpha 7, I'm still really waiting for them to show us what they got, transform into their beast form, so to speak. And now with a major performance still coming from 4 Thrives, they were able to redeem themselves, and now they're back at number 4, climbing up 4 ranks here at 113. And out of the teams that we can see from the first page, we also have Vampire Esports with a notable performance as well, climbing up 2 ranks.
That's right, and that being said, it does push Horror Esports down a notch if that's going to be the case. Sem9, a beautiful chicken dinner, will be seeing them surge up ahead 2 spots, pushing RRQ down, while YG has at least make a little bit more of that maintenance with their double-digit pointer run. So we're definitely looking at a lot of changes to be made throughout each respective round, because you take a look at the midfield, there's so many teams around 80 to 70 points, so we are expecting all these teams to even go for even more. So we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll bring you more chicken dinners to follow.
Step into the ring. Let's go. Step into the ring.
A shocking ending to our first chicken dinner, where Sem9 has been able to overcome the odds to take down 4 Thrives, where they were on an absolute rampage. Once again, it's Contra, as well as your favorite, of course, queen that's always been on the show, and it is none other than Red Queen Andy. So that's it. We've already concluded our first matchup in Erangel. This time, we're switching things up, moving into the Dusty Dunes of Miramar.
Hey, nobody was expecting perhaps, that kind of ending to happen during match one. I mean, everyone else is just really looking at four thrives. Just like what we mentioned, if in case you guys missed match number one, all the advantages were really working out for them. I mean, that explains just how much elimination points they were able to squeeze out of that match. We're talking about 15, a whopping 15 for four thrives. So let's see if they could probably replicate the same energy for match number two, but it is going to be a different terrain. We are going to jump in Miramar this time, and yeah, we're gonna go through this first before we start the game.
Well, if I'm gonna start with my pick, I think Four Tribes so far have definitely showed splendid performances, not only in the past round, but in Miramar in specific. So I think like very often than not, I've said it once again, like if it's gonna be Northern kind of circle, then Four Tribes will definitely be within the top four, if not the chicken dinner.
Yeah, agree with you. But since you've already picked Four Thrives, and my second choice was NS Red Force, but production already took NS Red Force. So let's see. Okay, okay, I feel like I'm gonna go with Vampire Esports just because I feel like today is the day they're gonna flip the script onto everyone, and also because of the fact that they are the defending champions for this season. So it's gonna be interesting if they can really do something big for us. I mean, it's a nice set of matches. Try to catch up with the match point because, well, I think the Smash rule can even out the odds for everyone.
Yeah, it's also interesting, right? When we take a look at all these lists of names out there, it's also important for Dongshim to not set the benchmark for far too high. I mean, teams are hoping to shut them down because if the benchmark is too high, nobody's going to be able to race up against them. Then it will definitely either drag on until some of all these guys, either Dongshim or D plus Kia, wins it out. So right now, while they're still trying to find a rhythm, I think even the likes of Vampire Esports, which we saw last round, Schweppes, crazy amount of elimination points secured, he's definitely onto something, and Vampire Esports are still going to be a threat towards the rest of the field.
And for those of you guys asking in the comment section when the Smash rule will take effect, that would happen tomorrow. Okay, so this is the last day that teams can really get as much points as they could, just so they can meet the requirements so that they can qualify for the Smash rule for this tournament. And now, okay, we're about to start match number 14. Let's check if this is going to be the same as the previous E-Wrangle, because we've seen a lot of changes, in the drop locations, in the drop clashes. And now for match number 14, let's see if that will happen exactly.
Time to find out, like you said, as this will kick things off from the corners of Impala Motor Paraiso, headed into the far west. So we're expecting maybe even some drops moving into areas like El Pozo. So very interesting, where it does not really seem to favor those teams who love to drop over the north. So teams like Four Tribes will have to look for a plan B, whether if they're getting the big goal to go back into their default spot around that water treatment area, or just absolutely take a new spot. Loudemore could also be considered if the teams are having not much of a clue onto where exactly to start things off with. So rather interesting. We'll have to see if there's going to be multi-teams that's moving into Impala, as we're already seeing D plus Kia as well as the rest of Blue Squad floating that direction.
And if you guys saw the names from the left side of the screen just moments ago, most knockouts, most elimination points still is Nobu of D plus Kia. Headshots actually is No Fear of Horror Esports, but also is Nobu's just really trailing him from behind, and that's for the highest damage. Again, it is still Nobu, but let's see if it will be different as we progress through the games this evening. But in the meantime, we're looking at the Savior, and they seem to be already busy getting everything that they need first before they get into a fight up against E-Arena. Now, we've seen this fight happen all throughout the tournament, and Let's see who will be winning this time. Usually it's D-Saver, but perhaps, E-Arena can do something about this and strike their revenge up against D-Saver.
And speaking of that, 4 drives kicking things up a notch right now. It really felt like we never really left the past game. 7-9 docking directly over onto the middle sector of this Monte Vivo, so it is going to be a very technical fight. While Baseman running out, he found themselves a vehicle. Doxy looking to stop them, but he unleashes plenty of all these 5.56 bullets, but found nothing at all. So he's just gonna keep some of these resources and look for alternatives, and that also kind of secures even more vehicles for themselves. TZ looking for the trike, not anyone's favorite vehicle to be specific, since it does flip a whole lot. But hey, beggars can't be choosers right now. So long as there are vehicles for them to work with, that's gonna be a-okay.
As long as it can help you move from point A to point B. But anyway, okay, here comes another fight that might happen. And, with 4th Fries missing to secure the chicken dinner, from the previous round, I do wonder if they're going to add some more aggression in terms of their gameplay, just so they can make sure that this time they can take it home. But in the meantime, it's just Sem9 over here. I think they carried over the fight that happened in Erangel here in Miramar, so can't wait for this 2 teams to clash.
That's true. And it seems like they're just making sure that they're mindful of every step that they take. Firen is going to be the one to be playing first contact, but so far they're not really spotting all too much. IQ just playing by the very edge of it. He's playing it all alone through the water tanks, so a little bit tough if they were to be taken down, because the rest of 4 tribes right now with 3 members swarming around Mika is going to be pretty interesting on what the maneuver is, because the big question is, can Mika hold his own? Because the rest of 7-9, they're segregated at this moment. I do believe at least Mika's relaying whatever movement info that he hears with those sound cues at the moment, and it's going to be Fala that takes charge. He's thinking twice whether to actually infiltrate, and he's cheekily climbing upwards instead. Okay, if he hears those footsteps, I think they should know. But so far, Mika staying absolutely silent. I don't think Falak has got a clue.
But they know that there is a team also in this area. I mean, we've gone through this multiple times already. And here comes the attack! Just like that! Got him off guard. T24, both Falak down on their knees. Served by Yumiko. So this is a big advantage right now from the side of Sem9. And that's confirmation coming through. T24 already out of the game. Now Yumiko cooking up a nader up against Noki. Noki slowly backing away, for now. He needs to be safe. He needs to find, something that could protect him for now, because Sem9 already on the move here, full force up against Noki.
Yeah, great catch from Mika in order to find these opportunities. Naki all alone right now, as IQ is too far away to send any form of help, so that's going to be 3 points out there. All back, and they're bringing out the knife to this gunfight, and Firen lands the killing blow. So it's a little rough, a little bit dire of a situation. Can I change my predictions right now? I guess not.
Sem9 doing the nasty. Oh man, to take out someone with probably they're just saving ammos, right? I mean, it is at the beginning of the match or stage 1, so they haven't really fully looted just yet. But yeah, Falak is still alive. Probably, Sem9 is using him as bait over here. They're checking like, okay, are you gonna come back for your teammate or not? Because yeah, we're gonna make him as our hostage. But man, losing to Sem9 again in Miramar. Oh, I do wonder if 4 Tribes going to do something about it. Match number 3. But in another part of town, it looks like FaZe Clan and Alpha 7 going head-to-head. Revo down on the ground, but right behind him are his teammates. Squashboo already on his way to the rescue from the kill feed, as well as BTR versus NS Red Force.
Benny's gonna be able to find that catch while Baseland also tagging alongside those members of Alpha 7. For Shopper, getting a lot of damage being done. Gui has been taken off the list much early on, while Nongshin Red Force split apart as Benny's kind of looking for alternative plans, but right at this moment, I run where exactly are the rest of his teammates?
Okay, Vampire Esports right now shutting down Joker, making sure that, yeah, he will be sent back to the lobby. So that is a punch to the face onto E-Arena. So now that Vampire Esports has the advantage up against the Arena, I wonder if the Arena will be taking the bait. Are they gonna go and retaliate and serve their revenge up against Vampire Esports, or live to fight another day? It's going to be fight or flight. We still don't know exactly, but what we know is that BTR is rotating close to where NS Red Force is, just around was that Power Greed? Okay, I'm just gonna take a look at that later on. But yeah, Vikings is also on the move as well. They're sticking close to the edge of the circle.
Yeah, and Vikings, the last I saw, one of the members is holding on to a crossbow for some kind of reason. Well, they've been able to actually shunt away some of the members of RRQ, both teams clad in gold. Let's break, making sure that he flushes their position further and further from where they're currently at. Just by the edge of Leonis, they're currently playing true, while majority of the field are looking to book a spot around Minas Generalis to be one of the prime locations, if not across the northern point of Power Grid right now, with Nongshin Red Force actually getting the perfect spot to really hold out. And mind you, for other teams to even cut across from the eastern side, they're gonna get shot, no doubt. So it is not an easy kill that they would be able to fight up against Nongshin Red Force. So this is a solid chance for the team to claim a big win.
Since the circle already shifted, San Martin now is the focal point, but all I can say is that the circle is behaving quite erratic today. I mean, even during the first round, back to Miramar, I mean, it just favored the north side, so there are a lot of teams that will be coming from the south, so that's what we need to anticipate, because there will be, again, like a massive cleanup that will happen, you know, from down below. And now JLU squad, even Team Secret, they are parallel to each other, just because I feel like they're gonna go for the same entry point coming from the east side. But most of the teams, just like Sem9, even Void Dunkin, even Talon Esports, Vampire, I feel like, you know, they're gonna collide in just a while. That fight's definitely gonna brew. I mean, it's already brewing.
Speaking of which, right now, Nongshin with a great tag. TZ somehow spots him with what? Only a red dot sight. Ridiculous work on this gentleman, while he's hoping to do even more of that damage towards the rest of the members of BTR. This is what I talked about. Nongshin Red Force, they pick a really smart position, and now this entire field of view is absolutely up for grabs, including the ones inside St. Marvin. The ones closest to them right now is FaZe Clan, but they're kind of hunkering down onto what are warehouses right down below, so they don't exactly have that vision. So they're just going to let them at least sit around for the moment. While over in the south, Vampire Esports, they left Picado and find themselves closer and closer to Power Grid. Spots out the rest of Talon. Moving up the hillside, they're on down to Shields, hoping to draw something in return, and Yoru also going in for a little bit of exchange. So these SEA teams are down for a big collateral.
Oh, man. Okay. I mean, Talent Esports will definitely have a hard time, you know, getting through Vampire Esports. They don't have any elevation working out for them, and Vampire Esports is just really capitalizing on that one. But they need to be careful because BTR is just right behind them. But anyway, we're looking at FaZe Clan here. One casualty from their side. Red Bull was able to recuperate, but Arena's trying to flush them out with all those nades. And Vampire Esports bags the point. You know, the kill feed is definitely lining up over here. We can hear a lot of gunshots, especially coming from the shotgun of 456. Now, he's trying to make it move so far, but couldn't find the right angle for him.
True enough, and it's going to be a lot of back and forth between these two right now. E-Arena being infiltrated with FaZe Clan once again go in with the major shutdown with swinging DPS to be able to shut them. Tries to at least clear some of the areas. Chopper doing exactly the same. Base clan, they found 2.
The arena got eliminated with no score whatsoever. But we still do have 16 teams, so I feel like most are really getting tactical now. Talent Esports out of the equation as well. We got Sem9 back on the screen here, posting a total of 6 elimination points in the bag. And again, you know, Sem9, they did so great during the Erangel match, and they seem to be doing that again, you know, for the Miramar round. Now, Lazarus is cooking an 8 here up against Umega. He was on point, and yeah, also a great follow-through coming from Vanjine. Hopefully I'm saying your name right.
That is.
Yeah, Vintorez. Okay, Vintorez was able to do a follow-through for the side of Vampire Esports, hence getting another point, and Byron all alone in this situation, left to deal with business. Okay, was able to do a counter, but then again, we have so many players coming from Vampire Esports ready to take him out.
He's so cheeky to still do a little bit more of that damage up against a member of Vampire Esports, but thankfully, Shreps is just there for the rescue. So, a great reset. Vampire Esports right now at least have a lot more space to work around that power grid sector, while the rest of Nongshim Red Force, they're not really putting too much pressure on the rest of the field just yet. Well, Vampire Esports, after taking out Sem9, will see themselves bunched up, and this is where it gets a little bit difficult for them to eventually challenge BTR, despite BTR having those lower numbers to actually work with. And he's tried to go all the way back to catch on to Mela, and he will be able to find it. Great tag, and now down to 3 members. VPE got to wrap the other way around, and each team right now tanking the zone. They cannot afford to spend too long. As it stays 3, it will still take a chunk of their health.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about a while ago. You know, I mean, BTR is or was monitoring the situation, you know, Vampire Esports going up against another team just moments ago, and they took that opportunity wherein like Vampire Esports is still trying to do a reset. They came in and they took some points, you know, from Vampire Esports, but they lost a couple of players as well. And now we can see that Bumblebee already headed towards San Martin. He's waiting for Satar, while Vampire Esports is picking up Miola in this situation, but Ventura is also on the way. So I feel like the BTR Vampire connection, it's still gonna happen even at this stage. But we already have 3 squads at least headed towards San Martin. We've got Hora, NS Red Force, we got GLU as well. But NS Red Force, speaking of them, okay, I think someone took a hit and now currently down on his knee. So let's see if he will be taken out as well. But as for Vintora's man, great shot coming from Sky of Horror.
Yeah, he has the elevated views, but not quite enough angles to work for BTR. Find themselves in a tough situation, but they will eventually overcome the final member of 4 tribes. Oh, close 1v1 coming in from Bumblebee, and he managed to stay afloat. Take a look at the rest of the 14 still left remaining, while Sky and the rest of Horror Esports having such a great leverage just by the top side of St. Martin. And right now, teams are scrambling inside the city. Glue finding the rest of Vikings moving in between the rails, and it will be pretty much a safe journey for Vikings to be able to hold firm for the moment, while Glue Squad getting tagged by Nongshim, moving closer and closer in the distance.
Yeah, that was an angry spray, you know, coming from BTR just moments ago. I mean, that was completely retaliating over someone. But okay, so we're looking at NS Red Force. They already have 3 elimination points. We got Horror Esports, and you did mention that they are holding on to a great vantage point over here. But Vampire Esports also on their way to take them out from behind. And you know what? Another team that might take them out, that would be D plus Kia. And I'm not exactly sure. But argue right now, Lapar making a move. He's been getting tagged as well, but he was able to shut down Levi's from that exchange. He pulls out his M416 and now coming after Parajit. So let's see if exactly that's what's gonna happen from this clash. And there you go, Lapar with a war.
It's crazy how well RQ managed to defend, and right now he gets to save 2 of his fallen brethren. Gotta see if Team Secret's gonna be able to close it up. Those grenades might just be lopped right in. Apart now, needing to at least pop smoke just for safety for the moment. Now, Duckel coming in from Team Secret. How many ducks are there in this tournament? I lost count. Probably this is the third. While Vikings infiltrates and eventually are looking at the rest of T plus Kia eventually bowing out as they take out the rest of them tires while Team Secret goes in for the full charge. There's only gonna be Lapar left. How long can he hold firm? And there's just not much paper to work with. Jinky now closing right in, and Lapar goes down. What? He's the one surviving. What? It's crazy.
Yeah. All right, here we go. D-Savior out as well. And just look at that. They haven't scored anything out of this round as well. Just like that, 9 teams remaining. Which is kind of explosive, coming from all the teams here. I mean, everyone seems to be putting up a great show now that we are already at day number 3 of the grand finals. Second to the last day, so to speak. Horror Esports, yeah, they are really capitalizing on this one. I mean, they can see those teams that are staying down in San Martin easier for them to actually just make it rain and, just really take out someone, with the kind of a position that they have. And as for Yangon Galacticas, they're staying out of conflicts for now. Same thing goes for Alpha 7 and even Void Donkey, since they no longer have that firepower. They probably will have a late game, for this. I mean, they're focusing on longevity, obviously, and they would want to collect as much placement points as they could. So if there's really no need for them to get into an altercation, I don't think we're going to be seeing them fight, for now. And speaking of fight, I feel like it's going to be between Vikings, NS, and GLU, since they're pretty close to one another. And Horror Esports is really, really taking advantage of this particular spot.
No fear so far, unchallenged, as they are still holding on to a firm location inside the zone. No reason for Horror Esports to budge while they are slowly tagging players after players. The only problem is that once they actually get the knock, there's all these kind of covers for them to work with. And then once again, you see, no fear, he gets the tag, but he cannot finish the job because there's just so much room around this urban setting for them to play for that cover. So there's still maybe a little bit more of that chance where revives could still go true. So it will definitely take a while for Horror to actually secure even more of those points. Well, when we go into urban settings, it is definitely going to be a little bit more of a hole coming from the rest of the field. Therefore, they're waiting for stage 5 to subside. And then once that happens, we will expect all these teams to start making big movements around the map, and perhaps that's where Horror Esports stands a chance to take on more. And speaking of which, Potatoes over the back, and that alerts Sky, and Sky kind of dares him to move any inch further. It's going to be the demise of Potato.
Yeah, they would want to snatch this area right here from Horror Esports, but I don't think they can do just that, considering that, again, they don't have the manpower to take care of business up against Horror Esports. But Sky, let's see what he's going to do in this situation. We got No Fear looting the airdrop. Unfortunately, oh man, Murnut boy spots him and threw a nade. And that's it, Horror Esports now suffered a casualty over here.
It's just a little bit of a hiccup for them, but I do believe that they should be able to kind of bounce back from it. Void Donkey, though, uphill battle. They now know for the fact that they cannot really challenge Horror at the top, so they're just hoping to kind of wait it out and find an alternative plan, as instead of moving up the hillside, they're driving back in towards the city's corners, and they might actually meet up with the final member of BTR. Now, I kind of want to know who exactly Bumblebee is. We have his portrait, but not exactly the usual name that they actually put. Is it Foxy? Is it not? We'll have to find out. Meanwhile, Alpha 7 right now on our screens looking for that first elimination point up against the rest of Team Secret. Big Nate popped upon Xerus. Not enough to actually find the mark with those Molotovs just yet, but those grenades are looking pretty scary, dropping very closely onto Trank as well as Jiki.
I mean, GLU, NS Red Force, Alpha 7, Team Secret, these are the team battles that are already inevitable. I mean, obviously one of the team will only be the one to step inside the zone at this point. I mean, considering the fact that every team that I just mentioned are still outside of the zone. Now, we can see Carillo's popping off some smokes here, but Team Secret already decided, hey, maybe, it's better for us to just prioritize getting inside the circle before we get into any fights. I mean, you don't want to overextend your stay in Miramar. I mean, outside of the zone there. GK got eliminated by Teen. Same thing goes for Doc of Team Secret, and Zeta's been getting some damage as well coming from Break of Vikings, and Vikings seems to be winning the fight up against Team Secret, and just like that, 4 elimination points down in the bag here for Team Secret, but they're back in the lobby.
And you just look at the impact that Superman actually brings to the table right now. He's just charging forward, fighting all his eliminations. Bumblebee still has it in the back, taking out Zeta. Potato as well. This one taken out by Superman. And there goes Boy Donkey. Already 9 points for the Vikings. Well, can BTR still hold firm? Bumblebee being absolutely quiet. But Superman knows there's still somebody in there. T wants to leave no stones unturned. Needs to be tossed over the upper end, but he's hiding on the bottom instead. And I think that they have a little hunch. Well, through the window, they managed to spot him out. So there goes BTR, top 6 finish. Respectable for what it's worth.
Through the windows, through the walls, we got Viking Esports dominating that exchange. Eliminating, of course, the remaining players come from BTR with only 2 points in their pocket. And now we're looking at Yangon Galacticus challenging up the boys of Horror Esports. Sky took a hit, and now he's badly injured. But then again, there's still time, for Horror Esports to pick up their teammate over here. But as for St. Cloud, he's probably reporting back to the rest of the team here that, hey, Horror Esports might be vulnerable. There could be a chance for us to take this vantage points for ourselves. But then again, we're still looking at Horror Esports and how good they are in terms of execution and their defense. And as for Yangon, man, they're managing 2 teams over here. Alpha 7 already ready to take charge in this situation. But is Yangon Galacticus prepared for a fight?
We'll have to see. They will definitely have been in a grand location for the longest time, but this time around, it's rather difficult that they find themselves on the foothill instead. Alpha 7 holding on to the peak. Kind of disallows YG from going anywhere further than that, which is why they're trying to hustle for that position with that one player over on the far end. And YG firmly planted inside zone, whereas Alpha 7 is not, so they just really have to wait for Alpha 7 to actually move right through. But Alpha 7 is trying to fight their way up against the teams over the outskirts, and they managed to get a couple of knocks, and that's coming from one member of Horror Esports and Mafioso at the same time.
You know what? Yangon Galacticus may be inside the zone, but then again, they don't have any high ground position, and Alpha 7 is capitalizing on that one, even Horror Esports. And getting sandwiched in between also does not add to their advantage as well. So this is going to be a tough ride, for the side of Yangon Galacticus. If they can survive this, then all good. We can probably see them, during the last few zones here, maybe score a lot of points as well. But Alpha 7 already moving in. They are really going to charge, Yangon Galacticus this time. And what a shot coming from Revo. That was super aggressive, eliminating Master Smile just like that. I mean, Horror Esports right now having an exchange with NS Red Force as well, but they do have the zone, I mean, map control-wise, it's Horror Esports.
Looking pixel perfect for some of these guys out there. A7 to really took the perfect opportunity to really strike them down. Only down to Robot Boy right at them. And they are still having worries as Horror over the hillside is still spraying them down. Horror right now with the most numbers. They can actually fend off the rest of A7. Well, for the back end, There's still Superman and the rest of Vikings trying to charge right through. It's going to be a great tag to suppress the maneuvers, and it's down to Superman right now. Slippy spots him out. Stack grenade.
Oh!
And Slippy goes down. Superman once again showing who's boss.
Hey, can Superman fly? Oh no, says Sky. The sky is for me and the rest of the gang of Horror Esports. What a nade, and also what a counter up against Superman. But then again, I mean, those are like high elimination points, so I can still say that for Vikings, they're pretty a high-performing team for this round. Unfortunately, they were able to secure the chicken, but then again, it's still a phenomenal performance. Let's see if that will happen as well onto the side of Alpha 7 this time. I mean, they do have the numbers, and they were able to turn the tables up against Yangon Galacticos because Yangon right now are the ones outside of the zone, and they need to come in. But will Alpha 7 Esports let them? Ooh!
Beautiful nade connecting onto Romeo, and just like that, quick tags will send Burnap Boy and the rest of Yangon Galacticos out in the field. Now it's between Alpha 7 as well as Bora. They do have the high ground, and the rest of A7, they're trying to push forward to really put some pressure onto Sky. And right now, Sky has lost vision. But the only thing that Horror Esports have working out for them is that none of them has spot out Jiggle over the back. But as I say that, Revo is kind of working on it, pushing up the hillside up against him. So they kind of have an inkling of where exactly they are. Nate now charged up, tossed out. Does it clip onto Revo? Just a little tip over on the shoulder right now.
Oh, man.
And Carrillo is going to be the next one to fall.
All right, here we go. This is going to be a great showdown between Alpha 7 and Horror Esports. Unfortunately, Horror obviously doesn't have the numbers so far to go up against Alpha 7. But oh, what a shot coming from Jiggle, evening out the fight. But unfortunately, Alpha 7 was holding on to a better vantage point up top. And Alpha 7 secures the win for match number 2 here in Miramar.
It's crazy how well the Brazilians have been able to pave their way. They were battling back and forth against Yangon Galacticos for that position, and they have made all these aggressive stats. They charged into those slump terrains and found those kills, and eventually even charging up the hillside to take out Horror Esports. If that's not a show of confidence, I don't know what to say. Because Alpha 7 Esports is going to show us if they could be the champions by the end of the tournament.
All right, this is what I want to see. Big names already stepping up. It's not just, D plus Kia and NS Red Force taking the wins, getting most elimination points. And, I did say this at the beginning of the grand finals that I do wonder if Alpha 7 will also be stepping up, if we're going to see them really transform into the Apex Predators that we know that they are. And it seems to me like they're already in the mood, perhaps, to score a lot for day number 3. And this was such a great ending, for Alpha 7. It was a little bit of a struggle just moments ago, the way that they actually tried to go up against Yangon Galacticos, and they were able to turn the tables up against them. And it was a slow burn, so to speak, but they were able to take control at the end of the match, hence eliminating the remaining boys of Horror Esports and taking the win. So that was a top-notch performance indeed.
And yeah, I would say exactly the same. And you take a look at the impact that Revo and Squash Boo had, not only in the form of elimination points, but the damage that they've been able to really put out throughout the field has been second to none. I definitely have seen a lot of attempts coming for Horror Esports where, they have had that high ground advantage for a very long time. But I guess it's really down to the kind of shot calls that A7 make that is the difference when it comes down to all these duels. They really took charge of all these scenarios, and overall, they have been so efficient on those close quarter fights and even on all these long-range grenade tosses at the very same time. So look at the teams that has been able to perform. It's not only the two names that we mentioned, Vikings, Superman. Man, Superman was just going crazy in this round.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Superman is a key member of Vikings. I believe he complements, the game style altogether. In terms of like overall team composition, I think they're doing great. But let's check out the head-to-head first. We got Lazarus over here, Vampire Esports versus Revo Alpha 7. The stats are not far too much of a gap. It's so close, so I think it's just pretty much the same thing, Like, when it comes to the MVP, though, it's Tins coming from Vikings with a total of 7 elimination points and 729 damage output. And I'm going to say it again, even if they were able to get the chicken for this round, factor of the matter is they were super regressive, in terms of getting those elimination points that they need to improve their overall status in the rankings.
True enough. I mean, MVKE overall is a team that is always hunting out for elimination points. So we definitely want to see if they could eventually find a sort of lead to eventually get more of those placement points. But hey, they've been able to really put up quite the showing. Take a look at the top performers. We got Tins here with 7 eliminations, followed closely by Lazarus, aka Schweppes, who's been able to secure 4, and same to be said about Sky, as well as Squash Boo, with Lazarus doing significantly a little bit more damage as compared to both Sky and Squash.
Yep, and Squash Boo, I can say, this guy has been, keeping us really excited at every match, or like in every clash that happens inside of Battlefield for the side of Alpha 7. And there's no doubt that he is always included in the top performers. So I wonder if he can get his name, as one of the players on the road to becoming the overall MVP for the entirety of this tournament. Now, speaking of Alpha 7, again, they finished at the top here with 18 points in total. We got Horror Esports also coming in at second with 15. They're tied up with Vikings, by the way. So those 3 teams finished at the podium. Now, throwables used in the match, 201. Now, I would love to say that, I want to see this one go higher. We've seen as much as over 300 plus, so I do wonder if that's going to happen as well. But maybe, just maybe. I mean, you did say this a while ago that we have at least 18 teams in the lobby, so perhaps, we can still see that number go high up.
True enough, and on top of that, take a look at the surge coming from Alpha 7. Right now, overtaking non-ship Red Force as they bounce upwards and even face plant at the very same time. So they're inching closer and closer. Alpha 7 can actually compete with D plus Kia in that sense. Nongshim moving upwards to 122 points, whereas when we take a look at the big movements and the jumps coming from Vikings, 2 good rounds sees them moving up into the top 10.
And you know what? Alpha 7 just started, being aggressive for day number 3, and they were able to climb up the second spot with potential, of course, of dethroning D plus Kia. I mean, the gap is not that big anymore. I mean, maybe a couple of more big games for the side of Alpha 7. There's no doubt that D plus Kia can get dethroned. But we will see if that is what's going to happen for the remaining matches today, ladies and gents, because we're going to take a short break. So don't go away. Red Queen and Contra will be right back after this.
Step into the ring. Come on, come on. Let's go. Step into the ring. Step into the ring.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Ruthless Invitational Showdown Season 11. We are now at match number 3 in Miramar. We are still your casters. My name is Red Bean, together with Contra, ready to serve you guys, of course, the spiciest chicken dinner we can.
That's right, and Alpha 7 right now is popping off. I mean, take a look at the list of names over on the leaderboard, and Noxian Red Forest is showing some signs of struggle, and hence why a lot of all these teams are definitely capitalizing on that. So now we've already had a little taste of what that previous round of Miramar has to offer, and we're going to go back at it for more. And then later on, double round of Wrangle before we move back into Miramar. So taking a look so far, I mean, last couple of showings coming from Alpha 7, they definitely have taken pride that they have been by far one of the best teams to really put those numbers in, despite D plus Kia having those consistent run into the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a different vibe, for day number 3 of the grand finals. I mean, I do love the fact that we are seeing, different names really go at it and really reaching the top of every match. So I do wonder if that's going to continue up until, the last matches that we're going to have for today. But as for my prediction, since we're going to go back to Miramar, and they haven't quite retaliated just yet. So this time I'm going to go with 4 Thrives.
Oh, I was just about thinking of 4 tries because, last flight path, they had to resort into dropping into Monte Vivo, which is why they were fighting 7-9. If they were given the choice, usually they won't go there. Now that you've taken that, I guess I'm going to go with a very bold attempt of having Alpha 7 score a second chicken dinner today.
Ooh, back
Alpha
to back?
7.
Okay, right. I mean, they could pull up a consistent run, since we're going to go back to Miramar. That is pretty possible. And now, experts' predictions going for Team Secret. Yeah, I mean, obviously they turned on their aggression as well. So they've also taken up another notch here. So yeah, perhaps lots of possibilities, right? I mean, we're talking about 8 teams going in the battlefield, so it's really hard to know just like which of them is gonna go for that cherry on top, so to speak. But it's gonna be an interesting fight all in all. 4 Tribes, they worked so hard during the first match today, and their participation in the second round was just kind of brief. So I feel like all this bottled up energy that they have, from game number 1 to game number 2, they're gonna release it, for match number 3. That's just what I think.
Yeah, I mean, same could be said as well for Team Secret. I just really want to see them really put up a similar performance to what we saw early on, where they're really racking points left, right, and center. And if I were to also choose another different team, Vikings. I mean, look at how much of damage they actually put out in that field, that it's almost pretty scary, despite, you have all these other lists of names out there who's been able to really put up quite a contest. And right now, it's really tough to tell. Is this also going to be a redemption arc coming in from D plus K? As much as, it doesn't seem too much of a redemption when they're sitting at the top, but these past 2 rounds, they were relatively absent, if you ask me.
They have been quiet. I definitely agree with you. I mean, this is not a D plus Kia that we saw during the playoffs and even during the second day of the grand final. So yeah, perhaps they're taking some time off. Maybe again they're having some Korean barbecue someplace else while fighting. I don't know, but they're a little distracted with the kind of performance that we're seeing from D plus Kia. But since they're still at the top, well, I think there's still some wiggle room that they can work with, having some mistakes, from every round. But we did say this, that Alpha 7 is already catching up. The gap is not really that far anymore. So again, we're talking about, like, if Alpha 7 have maybe if they actually do great in 2 matches, let's say like big elimination points and even a chicken dinner, then I feel like there's no doubt that Alpha 7 can maybe even top D plus Kia. So, well, I can't wait to start match number 3, but of course we'd love for everyone to join this mini game that we're doing. Just check it out. I mean, like maybe you can get a point for a prediction as well. Let us know down there in the comment section, like which team you guys are gonna root for next.
That's right. I mean, there's just so many great talents across Southeast Asia, across South Asia, Brazil, and we wish we could include everyone else in the mix as well, because these teams are preparing for the Esports World Cup, and that's happening within these couple of weeks, which is one of the grandest events with plenty of prize pool to be on. And look at the list of teams that we have. Half of them are kind of participating. The other half, this is technically their off season, which is why you are seeing this to be, very big challenges coming for those who are playing over the off season, and for those who are playing in the EWC. I kind of think that a lot of all these Indonesian teams that are on board, they are not really showing us 100% because they don't really want to reveal too much of their strengths or certain strategies when they want to play in the EWC. So their plans will not be disrupted in that sense, and hence why you're looking at a lot of different substituted players, a lot of all these prodigies moving on the block. So if you guys are big fans of the PMSLC Indo squads, then more often than not, by the time comes EWC, they will pop off once you have Federalists back on board, or you have some of all these other big names across RRQ.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Again, we don't even know like if this is going to be the same rotations or same gameplay that we're gonna see from our favorite teams come the official tournaments. And again, I was asking Sir Cloud, yesterday that I feel like D plus Kia is maybe doing some sort of intimidation like up against the other teams that we have in the lobby. Like, okay, maybe it's also like part of the plan. Like if a team doesn't really want to expose what they can do so far, or like maybe show everyone their secret weapon. So that's part of the strategy. That's part of the grand scheme of things, for the other teams. But as for D plus Kia, this is like they're really blowing up the charts here. They're dominating even during the playoffs. They're dominating. So yeah, there's already that big question, like, okay, are they really gonna finish this entirety of the tournament at the top, or like is something else gonna happen? But whatever the reason, from the teams here, I think what our audience needs to understand is that this is more of like a community tournament, like this is just like more on showing everyone what they can do, for teams to be experimental on their strategy and just try out new stuff, and for us to just enjoy. Again, it's not all about the team fights. It's about the clutches, the 1v3s, our favorite player going up against a rival, right? From other teams as well. So that's what we need to look at, to be honest. But anyway, again, we're already at match number 15 here, day number 3 of the grand finals. This is the second Miramar of the night, so let's hit it.
Well, I'm not too sure what to hit, but I know these players are hitting the mark as we are getting all these crazy stats coming in from Nobu. And I guess it's just going to be usually a Nobu real overall, but when it comes down to hit shots, it's actually Nofir that has secured the most overall. And so far, it's been IQ that has surpassed Nobu in the damage department at the very same time. So we're looking for any sort of change now. Good news for Fortrise fans, they are going to be able to drop into that Hacienda water treatment sector that they always know and love. While Yangon Galacticos are starting at the very far corner of the map. Very interesting is the last game we saw them actually play up towards the northern side, whereas I think that there's not going to be too much of a hot drop going into any specific location, as this is still relatively fair. As much as I say that, there's actually a flock of crowd. E-Arena, RRQ, MVKE, they're around that corner of Los Leones. As much as it's a big town to share, I'm thinking that this could be a little rather risky. Joker's could be floating very far off from his teammates. So I'm wondering what exactly is the game plan for E-Arena.
What is the game plan? Yeah, absolutely right. Maybe Joker just went for the vehicle gameplay, right off the bat here, but he left his other members right down south, close to Vikings and D Savior. But then again, since everyone doesn't really have any weapons just yet, um, uh, maybe they're just really gonna focus on like pillaging all of this abandoned buildings in Myanmar. But you know what? It's a different story between Horror Esports and FaZe. This is an early altercation between these two teams out of here, trying to get a better look up against his opponent with a micro Uzi. And Sleepy right now over to the rooftop, did a massive spray up against FaZe, but did not connect at all. But unfortunately, Jiggle took some massive damage for himself, and now he is badly injured as well.
True enough, and it's a little tough, especially this early on when teams are still scouring around for those weaponry. Red Bull starting off real strong, while Sky tries to hold down the line. He's only got the Vector and the Pumpy. So we'll have to see what do they make out of the situation. The rest of FaZe Clan now driving by. A lot of attacks over on the Gui. Today Gui is a little off, if you ask me. A lot of times he's been eliminated first and foremost. This time, very dangerously low. Considering that it's early game, I believe that he does not really have those meds up yet. While Jacob's going to be picked up in a jiffy. So Horror Esports kind of calls in for a grand reset.
So obviously Dewey needs to back away from this situation just because of the fact that he doesn't really have any first aid kits or like even bandages for the matter. So he needs to go to another location here so that he will not get picked off. But yeah, 779, 771 already out of the game, which puts FaZe Clan at a deficit over here. D Savior and Vikings going at it once again. We got Break rescuing his teammate now that he was able to take down a pathogen. But yeah, I mean, both of the teams here in this area could probably do a reset since it's too early really to go for that hard push just yet. And D Savior obviously will come and save their teammate Pathogen while Vikings do the same thing. But since most of the portion of Los Leones is no longer included in the zone, so perhaps teams that I just mentioned will really have a battle since well, only one team should survive.
It's gonna be a little bit of a long trade between these two Vietnamese teams. As much as I say that, it really feels like they really want to propel forward. Those nades are being put right through. Brick was lucky to be able to dodge that in the nick of time, but he soaks in a chunk of that damage, almost bringing him out. And last round, I saw Wunti on this crossbow, and finally we actually get to see him again. And he's been really sending a couple all these tags, exploding it right into the windows. So he's definitely limit testing for today.
Yeah. And you know what? Wunti's been always getting that explosive bow so far. I think it's becoming a meta, so to speak. I mean, we've seen this happen during the Hong Kong Invitational Showdown from Weibo Gaming. We got that player Sock. So I think he was able to do an effective demonstration of what that explosive bow can do in certain situations, and players are just adapting to it. While explaining that, while Superman took a hit and now he's out of the game as well, D Savior right now with 1 elimination point, scaring away Vikings in this altercation.
Yeah, great angle coming in from 4. And it's this Lamborghini. I'm not quite certain. It might just be just the other day that we are looking at a player with a different name playing for the side of DX. And oh my goodness, Jiki, that was absurd! And quickly follow up by Zeros to secure it as well. Blue Squad stood no chance to even respond to that.
Yeah, it was insane. It was insane. And let's see. Will the team still have a chance to help their teammates since he is currently at the summit here? But again, that was such a great pickup, from Team Secret. But yeah, I think was able to get the point, right? I mean, okay, it's 2 points now for the side of Team Secret, and they're about to get to a high ground. Of course, when it comes to Myanmar, you always to have a high ground for yourself. That would be the name of the game here. And if you don't have any elevation working out for you, then that could be detrimental, for any team.
And on top of that, a lot of all these teams just making sure that they will be able to be in a certain location that does benefit them in the form of recovery when it comes down to taking some of all these elevated spots at the very same time. Bigatron, thus far, have always had that privilege to start things off inside power grid when most often than not, no matter where the zone shifts, BTR would still somewhat receive a portion of it, since if it's going to be a central area, then BTR can just, stay around for a little while longer. And lay at the rest of Core Esports, they've been able to at least, get one back in turn with that first corner secured by Sky. And at the moment, it seems like they're happy enough to be holding over on the course of La Cabrera. I want to quickly take a look again into where exactly the zone will end up, and it seems like it will still be covering some of the main sectors. And looking at the current situation, Vampire Esports are rocking a little closer and closer to the rest of the field as they're trying to charge up and get themselves back on the wheel. So where exactly will they journey to next? Because we got 20 seconds from now before stage 1 closes, and I believe that they want to quickly gain that positioning in a short moment. And speaking of which, oh boy, look at that big cluster around Minas Generalis, and I'm starting to get a little bit concerned because YG is coming very far.
Oh man, another circle shift, of course, and it went down south. So those teams that are already on the northern side, I mean, just look at the amount of teams over there. There's some 9 close to GLU, Team Secret, D plus here, we got RQ as well. Up north, we got Boin Donkey and Alpha 7, even Sky and the rest of the gang there. So I feel like there's really tons of battle that is going to happen in just a while, just considering just how close they are all together. But before that, let's check out Talon Esports, still currently at the bottom of the page here. Again, we're checking, like, okay, if Talon Esports would show us a little bit of energy, for the entirety of the tournament. They're the only team so far not really collecting as much points as they can. But then, another match, another chance for them to of course, dominate. But coming off the kill feed, it's E-Arena versus Team Secret right now. Just how we called it out. We got Tourniquet cooking up a nade here. Zero's down on the ground by Mormon. But Mormon needs to recuperate as well. Let's see how things are going to go down for E-Arena and Team Secret. I believe Team Secret is down to their last player, which is GK.
GK. Trying to see if he can actually get something done. And quick swing coming from 30K. We'll be able to secure it. So there goes one more optimist for Team Secret. As Frankie is the last man standing, and he's trying to bail out, but he's stuck in between the rocks. And the rest of FaZe Clan are looking down at him and looking to shred him apart. Somehow he is still managing just fine with a slither of health. Like 5. FaZe Clan still looking for that opportunity, but they are getting shot at the same time. So there goes Team Secret, as that will be pretty much quick work coming out of a member of FaZe Clan. CP right now going for the charge, and the rest of FaZe Clan right now gets shredded out. Blue Squad arrives from the back, and XKF will be able to find it, but he puts himself in a very dangerous spot. It's Talon to steal that pointer away, while Talon Esports continues on, propelling up ahead. And just like that, Talon Esports stealing that one corner away just gives a little bit more of a signal warning to the rest of Blue Squad, who's over on the far hills. And my, it is looking rather tough, as this Minas Generalis position is not going to be playable. A lot of all these teams struggling to even get through the blue.
All right, here we go. 17 teams remaining. Stage 2, BTR going up against Fourth Tribes. T24 Falak down on the ground here. Same thing goes for IQ. BTR having a great time dominating this collision over here. Probably because they do have the better vantage point, I can say. But checking out the map feed over here, and as Red Force might go up against Alpha 7 and even Horror Esports. Over to the east side, we got Vampire Esports, Sem9, even RQ, D-Saber, D+ Kia coming into play as well. Onzen just knocked down on the ground by Talent Esports this time. So a lot of things going on at the same time. So we're gonna be we're gonna try to check out everything that is happening here.
Yeah, try is the key word, right? So, that being said, I'm looking at a couple of all these teams in a great position. Like you mentioned, BTR is one of them. And the other that's playing over the south side is going to be MVKE because they are situated on two sides of the what I call the Dev Valley. You know, right past Mikado when you're heading to Hacienda. That White Valley is super dangerous. And this is the reason why all these teams are trying to play by the hillside. Now, rocking over the back of Graveyard, it is going to be Sem9 that might be looking to seize an opportunity to take on some of the members of Talent in the esports. Talent has been there from the get-go, and it's going to be pretty tough to actually flush that position. Now, TZ's going to be able to find one member in return, and that's not just one, that's two. Doxy also knocking down Razak.
All right, here we go. Great exchange so far. Sem9. Oh, they need to be careful though. Okay, they're challenging up Talent Esports. But then again, right behind them are the boys of E-Arena. So E-Arena could probably do a backstab up against the team. But let's see first what Nongshim Red Force is going to do in this situation. Going up against Voin Donkey. We got XZY cooking up an 8 here, but completely missed a good 4. Now he's pretty exposed himself, but did a massive spray. Good 4 taking in a lot of damage, but that was such a missed opportunity for XZY to take him out. It's a good thing that TZ was able to follow through. So in this process, they also lost Doxy, but I guess it's still a solid performance since they were able to bag 4 elimination points for themselves.
Yeah, it was great positioning. They managed to seek out one after another in Nongshim Red Force right now. Once again, looking for that pole position, while the rest of Sem9 dropping nades. Yoru's going to be pushing upwards to try to trade back. Very risky moves. And yet, we got the rest of them. Talent's got to also worry about the rest of the teams that are over on to meet us. And you look at Yoru getting tagged from a distance as well. Satar now going for the exchange as he managed to suppress a member out of Alpha 7.
All right, Yuhai getting inside the building and was able to take a score right off the bat. Shields is doing the same thing with the DB as Yuhai. Man, confirmation coming through already out of the game here, but Fire was able to do a counter. Rebiosa floating out there in the open. You got Shields and a Chul, a tandem. Talent Esports, well, still trying to get, find their way inside this building. Yumiko right now defending together with the rest of the boys of Sem9, and what a shot, though. Sem9 continues to dominate, but there might be another challenger over here.
And it's kind of crazy. The work rate of Mambarang today is impeccable. I mean, this guy is closing into the age of 30 as compared to the rest of these players. And this guy who's retired is really showing up. It's crazy. I mean, people like Mambarang and myself, they call us dinosaurs already, like
what?
And like Mambarang keeps really getting more and more of these numbers back. Sleepy right now going for an attack, going for another purple team, and that's YG over the hillside.
Okay, here we go. D+ Kia taking in a lot of damage coming from the side of Vikings. Break is not letting go of the situation. I mean, he does have that opportunity. He does have that advantage up against D+ Kia because Fabian and also both out of the game. But it's the dynamic duo Nobu and Chips playing for D+ Kia at the moment. Here comes Wunti again with the explosive bow. Okay. Maybe he was able to give up a little damage, but considering the distance, I don't think he will be able to just lay that into an elimination point. But as for DX2504, man, already out of the game here. D-Savior dominating as well. Horror Esports taking care of business here up against Yangon Galacticas. Men, players, teams going berserk at the moment.
Yeah, they're just really finding a little bit of a tough time, scrambling for the space up the hillside. And you've got TZ right now making life a little bit more difficult. You can see that the rest of Horror Esports cannot afford to go in for the repeat. And same goes to number 4. He goes down. Oh, this is going to be pretty tough for the rest of D-Savior. Walter K is making it hill. not really finding it just yet, but it is just sufficient to take out both Lapart and Genfos.
Alright, Arena, let's see your move so far. Although 456 is already out of the game here, but 3 is still a solid number over here, and they could still probably take care of business. Tourniquet, what a move, what a shot! Arena still dominating with 6 points in the bag now. 11 teams remaining for stage 4, ladies and gents. GLU squad has already been executed.
Yeah, Levi's might even be the next one on the chopping block, as you are looking at 4 eliminations for D-Saver, but he's trying to track Tourniquet while he makes a run for it. He's so close. He finds that restock. Now he's got the 5 vs 8 kits to actually supplement him on his journey in. BTR right now smack dab in the center, but they're in a small little dip at the moment. So we'll have to see if there's going to be any pressure coming from Hora, Vampires, and the rest of the field. MVKE over the south side. Still finding a little bit more of that space, while Sleepy has been locking the position away from YG for so long. They're not going to be moving anywhere further from that point of time. So we'll have to see. Brand new update. Levi's now desperate to make a run into the zone. He's going to be in between sandwich. Either he's got to choose Arena or Vikings.
This is gonna be insane, I'm telling you. Horror Esports and his Red Force Vampire all in just one spot. Again, it's going to be the battle of the high grounds over here when it comes to Miramar. Again, Doxy already out of the game here, so it's gonna be interesting how Nongshim Red Force is gonna play this one out. Binny currently on prone. Now, I'm not even sure if Horror Esports is aware of like where exactly the players of Nongshim and Red Force are, and even with Vampire Esports. So I feel like all those 3 teams that I just mentioned are probably still playing for that information gameplay. You need to be accurate, right, as to where to point the guns. So that could also be detrimental.
True enough, and speaking of detriment right now, Biddy is about to be a nuisance towards these members of Horror Esports. Now, a lot of all these exchanges and the back and forths continue. Jiggle, the first casualty of the scuffle, and it's going to be Biddy once again getting his turn. And now we see Nongshim Red Force dominating with the 5 points, matching up to speed to Horror.
Levi's, well, he is taken out by the Blue Reaper instead, so that's a point denied for the rest of the teams here. We're looking at Nongshim Red Force still, because this is going to be a massive 3-way battle, but I feel like Firin is monitoring the situation, probably gauging the situation, whether or not they're going to join into the mix as well, but so far, you know, the rest of Sem9 is not coming into play just yet. Anzen got knocked down, however, by TZ. XZY is recuperating. Say Cloud shuts down Sky. We got Teens putting down Joker coming from E-Arena. Man, that was like a long shot.
Yeah, look at him back and forth right now. It is so little health left on Mela. He did actually get knocked by Dizzy towards the tail end, and now sending those nades downwards. That part Esports, can they find just about enough cover? And no! Kobe! It's XZ landing it onto Onson's, and he quickly gets depleted with the second follow-up nade as well.
Okay. And as Red Force seems to be doing all the right things at the moment, but let's see if they can actually follow through. And as for Sleepy, okay, they are taking some points as well. 1T again shutting down Tourniquet, and this is the exchange that we don't want to miss. We got Beanie right now about to cook up a nade here, potentially shutting down Sleepy and No Fear with this kind of distance. Okay, I think No Fear was able to get a whiff of just that. He was able to get a little bit of pain, you know, coming from NS Red Force, but Sleepy's been cooking a nade for himself. He throws it up against Beanie, but completely missed his target.
Rather unfortunate if you ask me. BTR so far playing for defense. I believe they are in the only compound that's possible, and right now, this could be their chicken dinner if they play their cards right. Look at the rest of those who are over on the eastern side. They need to now make a dash forward, And there's MVKE at least by the very edge of it. So this could very well be a very scary outcome on how this one plays out. BTR could also be charged in from multiple directions, while Horror Esports landing attacks across. Sleepy, he's barely having any cover, and the rest of Noxian Red Forces rushing upon him. Can he actually work? No! Attack's not quite enough, and now with a jump shot, we'll be able to secure it. And Noxian is dominating.
Palms are sweaty. Nongshin Red Force made a phenomenal move up against Horror, hence dominating the fight. But XZY still currently knocked down on the ground, and Vampire Esports versus Yangon Galacticos could capitalize on this one. But it's a good thing that NS Red Force now back on their three-man squad. I think they can already go and have an exchange again, for the remaining teams here. Speaking of remaining teams, we only have 7 right now for Sage number 6, and nobody wants to give up their spot, I guess. I mean, as long as you have that high ground, I think it will be easier for you to assume a lot of points, and that is exactly why NS Red Force and even Yangon Galacticos and even Vintoris, the last remaining player for Vampire Esports, is not moving or not budging at all.
Tough ball right now to make for a majority of all these players in the field, and we're looking at pretty much a spot where Vikings can actually spot out the rest of Phase 10, try to make their way across Mamba. The sprint Tem and that vehicle flip, and that caused a little bit of a stir, but Sam9 have been able to find a little bit of wiggle room. And even so, Woody's still on that bow. He's still got like, what, 12 more arrows to shoot at them. Damage now being done over on the side of Yumiko, and the scary part about all these crossbows is that it's so hard to track, where it barely makes any form of noise, which is why it's seemingly efficient for these shots to be shot pretty much safely in that sense. So want to see what more can they do. And it's going to be Nongshin once again on a rampage, closing it up against Yangon Galacticos.
Vikings seems to be playing Hunger Games. It's so in the mood to use that explosive bow, but then again, perhaps he is training himself, just so that he could be accurate and also master that explosive bow. But anyway, it's a master class still coming from the side of Nongshin Red Force. But what a retaliation though coming from Yangon Galactica, shutting down NS Red Force, and now Master Smile. There's a big chip on his shoulders because he still needs to take care of XZY, the last surviving member. But that was such a clutch, no doubt. He was able to put down Beanie and TZ all at the same time.
Yeah, and now down to a few teams. Only one member of YG remaining, and that's going to be Smile. The champions of the PMCL will be a little worse for wear. You can say the same about Nongshim as well as VPE. So 3 solo targets up top. Dem9 haven't actually made their way across as well. MVKE, Lee sending T's and Tins over eventually. But I'm just surprised that none of these teams are kind of interested in taking the compound that was being held by those members of BTR for so long. And they're just going to have to wait a little bit longer. And now, BTR is just going to be sitting still until something happens, while Sem9 find himself at 5 points. Top 5 scenario, have we got that dramatic music, and even more dramatic for Master Smile. Where does he go from here on?
5 teams remaining, ladies and gents, for stage number 7. And yeah, BTR, they have the numbers over here, so perhaps, this is the BTR that we know. They have been quiet during the first few rounds, but let's see if they can actually take this one home. 3 points in the bag currently for the biggest round by Vitality. And again, we don't even know if Federalis is actually playing, but then again, they're still doing a phenomenal job here. And now they're about to go up against the boys of Sem9. Okay, so there's a little bit of pressure for Sem9 because they need to step into the zone. And for sure, BTR is going to make it challenging for them. They're going to make it difficult, that is for sure. So let's see if Sem9 will succeed or will they struggle.
Sem9 for
finding a lot of rhythm and now makes it into the top 3. Vikings also on the rampage, 10 points. This is what I've expected out of MVKE when they were playing from the south side, where all the other teams were definitely having some clear signs of struggle overall. And it seems like BTR, they've been so ready and they've been turtling for most part. Now comes the notion of 7-9. How exactly do they infiltrate? Perhaps they're just gonna wait and see whether if maybe Vikings can chime in, but it's gonna be Manparang that actually finds the rest of MVKE over the south side, and Yumiko already getting shot. Mika has to be super careful of that position. Third, watching them like a hawk as well. BTR, they're knowing for the fact that these teams have force hands that they need to play out, and they're not going to be revealing their cards until these teams do.
This is still gonna get tough, for the side of BTR. Even if they are like the team who has the best chance to score the chicken over here, but like the moment the circle really shrinks, they will have to eventually leave that compound. And Viking Esports, while BTR is dealing business with Sem9, they're already getting into position over here. Just really anticipating, what will happen next from the side of BTR. Here comes Bumblebee with an angry spray, shutting down Firin. Okay, Sem9 trying to still do an effective counter over here, but it is, again, a little tough on their side. Now, here comes Satar back on the screen here. Manparang goes down. And yeah, BTR just dominated that clash, and now it's time for them to deal business, this time with Vikings.
Yeah, it's going to be Ken right now, moving across just to get some of all these vision over onto members of MVK. He spots 2, so this is going to be absolutely huge for Mr. Coach Kent. So we get the rest. Vikings now wrapping around. Pins running outskirts. As much as they spot all these movements, they could not really participate for the moment, and that is always going to be a little bit of a tough call to make for the moment.
Yeah. So let's check it. Okay, this is going to be a 4v3 situation. Again, BTR, they have a compound over here, but since we're already running out of space, the only thing I can say for the side of Vikings is that they hold a better vantage point. So here comes the attack from BTR. 2 of them already moved forward. There goes the clash. Bumblebee with effective shutdown was able to score that point, which is of course puts Vikings at a disadvantage. So let's see how Vikings gonna play this one out. Warranty still not holding, but here comes Kent already making a move. Oh no, I guess this is going to be BTR match.
BTR, they took their sweet time, and now it's their turn to shine. Look at how explosive that they are going, and they will make damn sure they will get it in return. And this is finally a chicken dinner for Indonesia.
Finally. Okay, we waited for a long time, to be honest, for BTR to show up, and now they finally did at match number 15 here, securing a chicken dinner. I don't exactly know what happened. I mean, given the situation, Vikings, even if they are at a deficit, they were holding on to better vantage points, to be honest. So not exactly sure what went wrong, but perhaps, one of them getting shut down, that paved the way for BTR to really dominate, I guess. It's the nature of the competition. One team will only walk with their crowns, with a crown on their head. So I guess it was BTR at the end of the clash.
Yeah, and overall, it was just magnificently played out from what we saw throughout the fields. And BTR, they know that they got the prime spot from Power Grid to move into that location. It didn't really took too long, but they were pretty much very well disciplined in most part, and the way that they've been able to navigate and eventually took matters when it is the best time to do so is what really seals the deal for these members out there. So kudos to them. We want to see more of this iteration, and looking forward for more BTR wins, if there's going to be any, throughout today and tomorrow.
hey, no Korean teams is having a chicken dinner just yet. And again, I'm so happy because, well, your favorite teams doing a little bit of a fan service to everyone. We have been tagging them, in the comment section, and now we're absolutely glad that they are performing for us for day number 3 of the grand finals over here. Now, we also have to give props to the other teams that did well, for this round. That would be Viking Esports, of course, valiant effort, BTR, NS Red Force, and Sam9.
That's right, and look at Sam9 having a consistent record for today, especially for the past round. They even had a instance where they overwhelmed 4 tries, which was rather impressive. But what's impressive to me is this stats right here. Both teams, Bigatron Vitality as well as MGN Vikings, have surpassed that 2K mark. More damage on the side of Vikings as they've been able to really rampage through all these teams over the south as well as anywhere close to the center. And then you have BTR. That final call, that push out was just simply lovely out of Bigatron members.
Yeah, that was a golden performance, I can say. Again, even if they didn't really have that much advantage up against the Vikings, because Vikings also were holding on to multiple angles, so they could easily go for a pinch. The moment that 2 of the players from BTR actually moved forward with the vehicle, they could have made that vehicle explode. But anyway, of course, they only make it look easy, but it's actually not. So we have to give the spotlight as well to Teens, for Vikings. He was able to put a 5 elimination points, hence getting the MVP title for this round.
That's right, Tins, the one that did the most damage to the round, 1,255. That's how crazy he went in this round. While TZ and Bin, we last saw both Nongshim members to be going up against teams like Horror Esports and so many more out there in the field. I think that they've done just about enough. As much as you talk about them not having the chicken dinner, I think that they've definitely had certain impactful plays to still put themselves pretty much up ahead. And lo and behold, that's 15 points for Nongshim Red Force.
And check it out. Alpha 7, D plus Kia, and even 4th Thrives Esports didn't make anything out of this round. So a little unusual, but then again, we still got how many more games? Okay, 3 more games remaining. So they're still safe. Okay, so yeah, as for the other teams that did extremely well, we can give it to Nongshim Red Force and Sem9 ending the game with a double-digit score. So if they can just continue on playing at this kind of pace, even without securing the chicken, I think they're going to be just fine.
Man, I love this old man on screen. Parang 300 over distance coverage is something so impressive, at his age. And I mock him because, we're both friends. Yeah, that's kind of how it rolls. So 19 headshots, absolutely impressive when it comes down to how the fights have went on. A lot of back and forth trading, and hence why, around those valleys has been super difficult. And now back at it again for more. Nongshim Red Force is now 10 points shy from closing up against D plus Kia, as they've been able to knock A7 just slightly below. So other than that, MVKE is taking that 7th spot, and they move up 3, coming in from 10.
Yeah, 10 points. Okay, that's the total number of the gap D plus Kia has over to NS Red Force. And again, even if the NS Red Force wasn't able to get that chicken dinner, but with the number of elimination points they set every match, I mean, there's no doubt that they can really slowly climb their way up to the top. Now, the question is, what is D plus Kia gonna do in this situation? What are you gonna do, guys?
Well, I guess that they will have to answer that in a short moment, because we're going to have more games coming up next. But for now, we'll take a few minutes off, and we'll see you guys right after this.
Step into the ring.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Ruthless Invitational Showdown Season 11, and we're already halfway through the competition. And guys, you are giddy and excited about like which team is gonna go next at the top. But we are at the caster's desk. My name is Red Queen together with Contra. Are you guys ready for match number 16?
I'm absolutely stoked for this one as we're getting closer and closer to see what will be the benchmark points, because right now Noxian Red Force is really surging forward, and we're exactly as D plus Kia. They're not exactly part of this current equation for the past couple rounds, and I think that they need to do something about this from here on out. 4 Tribes also getting suppressed, as much as they have been really showing us a big performance back in the round of Wrangle. Now that they're back, can they once again show us that they can do it?
Maybe. Oh, okay, I'm already thinking. We're done with 2 Miramars, okay? And Vikings definitely, no doubt, stepped up, you know, for the 2 rounds that we had in Miramar. Absolutely killing it. But I feel like, man, it's really hard because I'm looking at the list of the top performing teams, at least for Erangel. It's really hard. So Prod obviously now going for D plus Kia. And I think they have the right objective, given the fact that we are only talking about 10 points, you know, for D plus Kia. That's the gap right there up against Alpha 7. But
I'm
feel
also
like
good for D plus Kia. I'm putting it out there.
all right, so D plus Kia, absolutely fine. Okay, I mean, I'm just gonna take my chance on Ennis Red Force this time.
Excuse me. Gotta clear
Bless
it up
you.
before we actually go right through. So, okay, so we're still going through all the potential top 2 finishers. But if I were to look at the rest of the list as well, 4 Tribes have definitely shown that they understood the assignment the last time around. So the last couple of bouts that they had in Miramar was not great, but at least they could rely on the Wrangle matches. So I would still expect 4 Tribes to be having significant impact in this round itself, whereas it's kind of like a catch-up game because D plus Kia, they are playing at a very slow tempo as compared to the rest of the field. So now that they know like exactly they must do, and with a lot more safer space to work with, now that it's pretty much the kind of terrains that kind of favors some of all these players out there, then this is definitely a better chance for DK in that sense.
Yeah, and again, you know, the vibe so far is really different, you know, from all of the previous matches that we've had so far. You know, the unpredictability is something that I can say I enjoy, because during the previous matches it was all about really Ennis Red Force and D plus Kia going at it. You know, they try to one up each other. We even came to a point where we talked about like, okay, Ennis Red Force doesn't like to have like D plus Kia have all the spotlight, and D plus Kia, the moment Ennis Red Force dominate, they will have to do something as well. So, you know, it's a great thing that we are seeing different set of teams right now really popping off. So hopefully it can still continue. But then again, we chose the Korean powerhouses so far just because we anticipate that, okay, since teams are already catching up, maybe they can do something here and make sure that they maintain their overall position.
Fair enough. And right now, another flight path to be secured into the island. So last we checked, there was like 4 teams that actually moved right in. Now, I think these numbers may not be as many as compared to what we saw, or I could be proven wrong yet once more. 4 Tribes is going to float directly into third tier. And I'm also surprised to also see so many of all the other names out there who's been loitering around the Asnara region right now on their parachute. So we might actually see that scramble for those vehicles. But it's good notion, right? Because that zone is going to be up there around the Asnara field. And we're already getting those gunshots into the corners of... It seems to be Novo, and it's once again Yangon Galacticos versus Team Secret.
All right, it's a Novo showdown. Team Secret versus Yangon Galacticos. Master Smile already down on the floor. Trang, right now, trying to find a very good spot over here. And yeah, he did manage to do a spray up against Say Cloud, but unfortunately did not hit him just yet. So obviously Team Secret does have that slight advantage up against Yangon Galacticos. Let's see if they can follow through with this kind of aggression this time down in Novo. But it's still a standoff, you know, nobody's making a hard push just yet, but Master Smile is still bleeding out there in the open. It could be difficult for Yangon Galacticos to pick up their teammate.
Yeah, this a little bit of a tough stance right now where we're looking only at the Scorpion for Murnat. They do have the angles though, and look at the area that Seika's holding. He spots out 2. He allowed them to get Master Smile, but there's no response coming from Cloud for some reason. I guess he does not really want to draw that attention until they actually get the Rifter in. That's kind of like a wasted opportunity, and speaking of which, he still gets packed, but at least he brought down GK in the process. Frankie now looking to infiltrate. This could be the first one to do so. The Akimbos in hand. And it's Say Cloud once more. The onus is on him because he's the one with the right arsenal of weaponry. And here comes charging right through. Say Cloud does get the tag on the track.
Effective counter right now being displayed by Yangon Galacticos, but then again, we're down to their last member, Team Secret. Can they take this one home at the beginning of this stage? Say Cloud, oh man, what are you going to do in this situation? Let's see, he reloads his gun, still trying to find an angle over here. So Murnat Boy, or Romeo Boy rather, still alive. So this is a 2v2, I believe. So we can see that this is a cat and mouse chase so far between the two teams. Now Say Cloud making a move as well, trying to get close to the fire, but it's a little, I mean, he's a little hesitant, but Frankie moved in closer, effective shot. Oh man, Yangon Galacticos, this might be the end for them.
It might also be Team Secrets. I mean, take a look at this 1v1 duel right now. Better weaponry coming in from the side of Frankie.
Whoa!
But he doesn't really find the angles. He does actually pull off a crazy shot, but it's going to be Romeo Boy that has the last say, and he's going to be able to save Say Cloud. A beautiful ace, but it came with a heavy cost.
Yep. And from that clash, only goes to show that if a micro Uzi is used properly, well, it can still be a deadly weapon up against the shotgun. But anyway, okay, going back into the action, first team to be taken out, of course, that would be Team Secret with only 2 points in the bag there. But in the process, Yangon Galacticos suffered big damage as well for their team because, well, they're down to just 2 players, and we are just at stage 1. So then again, since they no longer have that firepower, they should be focusing on how to get more placement points here to help Yangon Galacticos still climb up ranks here in the leaderboard. And now we're looking at D plus Kia. They're already inside the zone. Not exactly sure where they are headed, but they could collide with Alpha 7 and even Horror Esports. Sem9 also is within proximity, and just as we said it, I mean, they're having an exchange so far between Alpha 7 as well.
And I guess like for Sem9, they could actually hold on for quite some time around this mansion field. The last we checked, the zone was around Yasnaya all the way down to this mansion area. So Sem9 is definitely preparing for the late game instead. So at least knowing who your neighbors are is going to be vital, and there's no need for them to actually out-hustle some of all these players out of Alpha 7, since they've got the other strong area to hold out. Well, Nongshim Red Force looking for a spot right between the Medusa intersection. So there's going to be a 2-2 split formation coming in from Nongshim. And this could very well be effective where they get that perfect 360 view around the field side where a lot of teams tend to actually cross. As much as it's rather early, take a look at how many teams are coming in from the far west. We got Arena, that are esports, and even on the bridge, we're looking at a battle between Voidaki, RRQ, the Indonesians taking each other out.
All right, Voidaki making their way back to Main Peninsula, but Lapar is, and the rest of the crew actually is just making it hard for them. But let's see if they can maybe put down RQ this time and just turn the tables up against them. But Lapar, okay, took a slight damage from Potato, but yeah, I think he's still gonna be safe here. Oh man, just as he was cooking a nade, Genfoss took that opportunity to just jump on the ground and take him out, and Potato's already back to the lobby for him. Lapar did a massive spray up against Zeta, but completely missing him as well, but it's a different story though for Gakor, although it wasn't enough to take him out of the equation just yet.
Yeah, and that par holding firm. He finally gets a glimpse onto Gachor the moment he goes over onto those wheels. Razak right now stranded so far off. RQ looking to close off this fight. It's going to take a while before they can actually manage to spot the rest of these VB members. Voidducky opts to fall back, but realistically, there's not much space for Razak to work with. Being spotted out, and attacks coming from Zeta actually catch him from the other off angle. My. That is pretty sick, if you ask me, on the kind of coverage that Zeta actually offers. But despite that, the trouble is far from over. Same goes to the side of Vampire Esports. These teams over and back, struggling for that space. And even worse for wear, Vampire Esports going up against 4 tribes, and it's IQ on the other side. He might be able to shred them apart. We'll have to see about that. And IQ, he's just looking for that space. Instead, Vampire is charging right through, looking for those angles, and IQ does it.
You have to ask for an invitation to come in if you are a vampire, and that's exactly what 4 Thrives made Vampires feel this time with that kind of clash. And now Vampire Esports is paying for their mistake. 4 Thrives, right now, strong force dealing with Vampire Esports. They continue to retaliate up against them, and Falak looking to obliterate. Let's see if they can hunt this last player down. Lots of exchange happening, but still not hitting the target. And now, nail in the coffin, 4 Thrives remains at the top.
It's just crazy, the work rate of 4 Tribes. And IQ outplaying that situation was just something out of RQ. They fought Razak for far too long, and the initial scores they finally do. 1 member, or should I say 2, at the cost of it. While we're on the open fields, E-Arena, Horror Esports, fending each other off. Horror Esports have loved playing inside of Yasnaya, and they welcome the Rapid Sophomore with a greeting of the shotgun shells right through the face. No fear shredding them apart, while he still has a few more buddies inside of the compounds, which we'll deal with a little bit later. 4-5-6 now with the nade toss, kind of lobs back at himself. So that is going to be a little bit of a quick reset coming from E-Arena. But they need to ensure that there is just about an ample space for them to work around with, because the entirety of Horror Esports is going to swarm right through.
Yep, that was a great jump shot coming from Horror Esports, shutting down Tourniquet like that. I mean, Tourniquet obviously didn't even have a chance to defend himself. But right now, No Fear's cooking up an AJ, trying to flash out Mormon, okay? But from behind, I think they're also getting tagged by another team here from Yasnaya. Sky currently knocked down on the ground, and okay, confirmation! Alpha 7 is the team trying to do a backstab up against Horror.
Ooh, this is gonna be a big, messy fight. But then again, I think that Alpha 7 is just gonna be a landing tags coming in from those houses from that hillside over on the outskirts. So very likely to not, they're not gonna be really fully recommitting in that sense. E-Arena though, kind of jostled with a little bit of a split. Mormon, Joker holding their own. I mean, when you're in an urban setting, you could still find certain tight angles to try to clutch a moment. But the problem is the next zone gonna be inside of Yasnaya, and if that's the case, I don't see a way out for E-Arena.